Hello, and we have your daily dose of crypto news. Let's start with Bitcoin inscriptions. You know those things that allow ordinals? Well, they now might be a national security risk. So maybe it's good that version 2.7 is coming up and may kill ordinals because there is a serious vulnerability that has been exploited. And maybe they didn't know about it, but in 2022 and 2023, the ordinals and the inscriptions, they got that attention. Not very good for ordinals fans, but basically Bitcoin inscriptions added to US National Vulnerability Database. Not Bitcoin itself, Bitcoin is okay, but the inscriptions, oh yeah, no good. So basically, the National Vulnerability Base, NVD, flagged Bitcoin inscriptions as a cybersecurity risk on December 9th, calling attention to the security flaw that enabled the development of Ordinals protocol in 2022. According to these database records, something known as a data carrier limit can be bypassed by masking data as code in some Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin NOTs versions. And of course, they wouldn't have known about this if inscriptions and Ordinals hadn't exploited it. Of course, this is bad news. Being added to the NVD's list means that specific cybersecurity vulnerability has been recognized, cataloged, and deemed important for public awareness. Now, this is very bad for Ordinals fans, and because it gives more steam to the proposal of version 2.7, it also gives more credibility to those nodes that are turning down Ordinals transactions. But I think more pools will be voting to get rid of Ordinals and voting for 2.7 to actually cross. So important CVE JSON5 information in Bitcoin Core 26.0 to Bitcoin NOTs before 25.1, data carrier size limits can be bypassed by feuding data as code as exploited in the wild by inscriptions. Of course, now the vulnerability is under analysis. As one potential impact, it could result in large amounts of non-transactional data spamming the blockchain. This is from Cointelegraph, but this is really, really bad. It's worse for Bitcoin than other chains because Bitcoin's space is very limited, as we have said, and this could make it slow down to 1 transaction per second or possibly less. Now, some of you are like, well, can't they just move that to Lightning? Let's be serious now. Lightning has a lot of problems moving large transactions, so I highly doubt they're going to be able to move ordinals to Lightning. And for Bitcoin to function properly, pretty much everything has to be moved to Lightning. So things that can't be moved to Lightning are basically incompatible with Bitcoin. Any kind of transactions that cannot be moved to Bitcoin Lightning is basically incompatible with Bitcoin's current architecture, and there's really nowhere they can actually change that. They could increase the block size, but that generally has other problems like making it too expensive to actually host the entire chain and sync the chain, because 1 megabyte blocks for Bitcoin, that already requires many, many gigabytes of data. If you improve it to 10 megabytes, 100 megabytes, you end up having the same problem that BSV does. And that is just no one actually wants to host a chain. You also get memory problems on servers. So there's a lot of problems with Bitcoin right now. So that does give a vulnerability to spam the network. I guess it's like receiving junk mail that you have to sift through every day to find the ones that are your contacts. It slows down the process, a user wrote in discussion. However, spam email is less of a problem because it doesn't really make my transactional cost go up. Whereas Bitcoin, this stuff does make transactional costs go up. Now, miners are going to love this because, they want all the spam possible, because to get your transactions above that spam, you actually have to, pay more and more for your transaction to go through. So they benefit a lot. In fact, they could be the ones that's spamming it in the first place. Of course, this is very, very relevant to ordinals and very bad for ordinals because you don't want too much data trying to transact because Bitcoin can't handle it. The volume of ordinals transactions clogged Bitcoin network several times during 2023, resulting in more competition to confirm transactions, thus increasing fees and slowing processing time. Obviously, we've seen these processing times go to several days before. It could go to several weeks with ordinals. And since they can't be Lightning enhanced, they're kind of screwed at this point, and not something that I favor. So obviously, definitely a national vulnerability for the United States if a lot of stuff starts transacting in Bitcoin could be bad news. Of course, there is an evil crypto bill in Congress, no surprise there, and it is proposed by Elizabeth Warren, no surprise there either, because she has proposed many evil and bad bills pertaining to Bitcoin. So what is this bill and why shouldn't we be afraid of it? Well, we shouldn't because Elizabeth Warren does not have a very good record of passing bills. Of the bills sponsored, so she had 36 bills in the 111th Congress that were sponsored, 0 passed, 103 bills in the 117th Congress, 0 passed, 98 bills in the 116th Congress, 0 passed, and 80 bills in the 115th Congress, 0 passed, 27 bills in the 114th Congress, and 0 passed. Now, each of these terms are 2 years, so she has been a senator for about 10 years now. And of course, she is very, very low on the amount of bills actually passed. So generally, not really all that scary. She is not very efficient in getting bills passed, and this particular bill has already been shot down twice. So it doesn't really make sense for it to pass this time. She does have some bipartisan support from the Senate Banking Committee, which means both Democrats and Republicans support it. But I don't think she's going to find so much support in the House because there's bipartisan opposition in the House to this anti-crypto bill. And it's the same garbage that she tried to do last time. Basically, like wanting to make self-custody wallets and, certain like DEXs do KYC AML, which is not possible for those entities because they're decentralized. They naturally don't gather KYC AML information. Of course, she's been an outside critic. So the senators that joined her were Raphael Warnock, LaFonza Butler, Chris Van Hollen, John Hickenlooper, and Ben Ray Lujan, and backed her Digital Assets AML Act, reintroduced in July. So she's been working on this for a while. The bill already had bipartisan support from several senators and organizations, including the Bank Policy Institute, Massachusetts Bankers Association, Transparency International US, Global Financial Integrity, National District Attorneys Association, and major county sheriffs of America, the National Consumer Law Center, and National Consumers League. So basically, this is going to be like both on the organizational and the congressional front, it is bipartisan. So obviously, some people are saying the Digital Asset Anti-Money Laundering Act is a direct attack on technological progress and also a direct attack on our personal privacy and autonomy. Make no mistake, while proposed as a solution to potential money laundering and tax terrorist funding, it is in fact a bill to basically kill crypto, as many of the crypto entities just cannot actually comply with the bill because they don't collect personal information. And it is a surveillance bill. Unfortunately, the bill cannot be improved. It can only be opposed in its entirety. Coin Center will do everything in its power to protect the rights of Americans and defeat this unwarranted attack on individual privacy and anonymous action. So this has been shot down twice in various other forms. So I do think it's going to be shot down again. Obviously, critics want lawmakers to focus on bad actors instead of trying to kill the industry as a whole. So, like I said, not too much to worry about, but it is something to keep in the back of your head. And people that actually support this bill, if you live in their jurisdiction, should probably not vote for them or vote against them. I don't really care if it's bipartisan or not. Like, I might vote for the Democratic, but if I lived in Elizabeth Warren's district, I would actually vote for her opponent, whether they be Democratic or Republican, because it is a bipartisan bill, and we need to send a bipartisan message that we won't tolerate bills like this, and we will vote you out if you support bills like this. So that's how you make your voice heard. So the thing about, and of course, we don't really want any of these things to pass, because if they do, it just squeezes crypto more and more. For those of you that are fretting that Binance has now been taken over by the evil feds and they won't list any more coins, do not fret. So crypto exchange Binance announces an upcoming listing for a new low-cap altcoin project. So Binance is still listing new projects. This time it's a gaming project. So they're still carrying on business as usual. They'll just be audited, at least for the United States transactions. So it would add Fusionist Ace to its launch pool platform, which allows users to stake coins in exchange for new ones. Ace is the native token of Endurance, a centralized gaming and social blockchain, which Fusionist, a Web3 AAA game, will use as its mainnet. So maybe you want to invest in this Endurance protocol. It's going to be listed on Binance. And there's a Web3 AAA game that will actually use it as protocol. So there is use case right there. And directly from a quote from them, users will be able to stake their BNB and FDUSD into separate pools to farm ACE tokens over 5 days, with farming starting from December 13th, which is 3 days from now. Binance tentatively set to list ACE at December 12th and open trading with ACE BTC, ACE USDT, ACE BNB, ACE FDUSD, and ACE TRI. And of course, ACE is the 40th project it is adding to its launch pool platform. So it does not look like business operations are going to be too affected by their monitoring agreement. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.